What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We actually had another really boring day in the market again today. So just like yesterday, the market was a little weird. And when I say that, I mean it just really wasn't moving too much. We saw most of the movement today in pre-market, and we're going to analyze the chart of the market in a couple minutes here. But we had a really slow day. We actually gapped up today. The NASDAQ led the way. The S&P 500 did pretty good too. I mean, not amazing. And then the Dow kind of lagged behind. But we finished in the green, which is good. But we opened up and we were just bouncing up, down, up, down. And it was kind of a slow day. So we do have some very important news to go over, though. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. And then at the end of the video, we also have a $3.4 million options trade that we are watching for tomorrow. So this option expires tomorrow, and it's an interesting trade. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe to see our daily videos on your YouTube homepage every single day. So Tom, what happened in the market today?
Yeah, it was pretty boring, but there was some big movers today. We had Wayfair actually with a big move today, which is going to be W. They had a pretty big move all the way up to 324, which was a 9% gain off this stock. That was a big gain. Peloton also had a huge gain, hit new highs again. This is a stock I've been watching for a few days now, and it's been doing pretty well. Snapchat, which I talked about in yesterday's video, bounced perfectly off of the resistance that it broke through. So it broke the resistance this morning and just consolidated right along it and then popped off of it end of day and ended up hitting $27 a share. So that was good to see. And some other stocks did decent, like Walmart, BA did pretty decent too, as well as some of the banks like Citigroup and Nike. But the big news today was that CNBC reports that Nancy Pelosi and Steven Mnuchin are going to be meeting once again. And they actually held a 50-minute phone call today, and they plan to talk again later in the day. Pelosi spokesperson Drew Hamill said they aim to clarify both the amount of money to put into a potential bill and the language of the legislation, but there's still distance on key areas, he said. So they're still obviously trying to work things out right now. And it's just one of those things where they're going to be going back and forth for a few days. And, it could be, by the end of next week before this gets passed, the way this stuff's been moving.
True. And like we always talk about, politics are always back and forth, back and forth. They're trying to make a deal happen, but they've been trying to make a deal happen for a long time. And I know a lot of investors are hoping that they make a deal soon, right? Because the longer we wait, the more people that get hurt. So I know the market definitely wants a deal sooner rather than later. And if we do not see a deal by tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if the market falls down. So I'll definitely just keep that in mind. The longer that they just delay this deal, it just hurts more people and it just hurts the economy overall.
Yeah, and then also Democrats released a revamped version of the HEROES Act this week, which was a $2.2 trillion package that includes additional relief for small businesses. And the proposed Paycheck Protection Program updates include streamlined forgiveness for loans under $150,000 and a second draw for distressed businesses that have already received loan funding. So this is really going to help small businesses in the long run, and it'll actually help them keep their payroll and not have to fire employees right now, because this payroll protection program, the whole point of it is that if you use the money for payroll, they will actually give that money to you as a grant, and you won't actually have to pay it back if you use it for payroll, that is.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's good to hear. Hopefully that we just get to a stimulus deal as soon as possible. It's good to see them trying to work out a deal. But Tom, if you could go to a chart on the SPY, and then if you could look at an intraday chart. So I just want to point out how you see how we had highs. Yeah, can you show? Yeah, zoom out a little bit. You can see how we had highs right around the $338.75 level. It was kind of around that area yesterday. And the way I'm looking at it, I'm kind of seeing a double top. I mean, I wouldn't call it like a textbook double top, but we definitely don't have a ton of momentum to the upside. I would say the market is more uncertain than anything, because yes, we finished up today, but when you look at the move, we really only finished up because one, we tanked yesterday right before it closed, but also two is because of what we saw in pre-market today, because all day long, the market was just up, down, and was actually finished down looking at the opening price on the SPY. So, the pre-market really carried us today, and the NASDAQ did better than any other, than the SPY or the Dow at least. So the NASDAQ did good, but the SPY didn't really do too good. So yeah, we're just really hoping for a deal to get finished sooner rather than later. And now for today's Discord member of the day. So today's member of the day is The Flash. So he made $124 off of your call out, Tom. So you called out PTON this morning, and he said, thanks for the call out, easy money, small gains, but they're gains. So great job, The Flash, and great job, Tom, with that call out. I know a lot of people really banked on that today. I know you called out PTON. You were looking at it to the upside, and this was before the market even opened, and it popped 6%. So a great job with that. And actually, let me go back. Yeah, so PTON was a pretty good call out. Tom, would you want to explain what you were seeing with this before the market opened?
Yeah, definitely. Whenever I was looking at Peloton this morning, I was really looking at it bouncing off of this key support last night. So you could see it bouncing off of this level about 10 times the past 5 days. And that level is going to be right around the $98.50 level. So I saw it bouncing off of that at close yesterday. And then this morning in pre-market, I just saw that simply the stock was really flat. So what I did was I just drew a little resistance right at the top of that flat little channel that it was in. And I said, if it breaks the top of this channel, which will be like $100.50, then I'll be bullish on this, and I would go ahead and buy calls. And it popped right above that at open and just flew pretty much all day. I mean, I know it went down in the middle of the day, but it was just a great play all day long. Peloton did great today, and even your play, which was Facebook, did great too.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys want to follow some of these trades, they're completely free. All you have to do is click the first link in the description down below to the Discord channel. We have over 10,000 people in the channel talking about stocks, options, and finance all day, every day. So if you guys want to join, it's completely free. It's the first link in the description down below. So now for the momentum plays for tomorrow. And the first one is Netflix, Nflx, potentially to the upside. They had a great day today. Tom, what levels should we be watching?
Yeah, just make Netflix go ahead and break $530 to the upside. And this stock probably carried the NASDAQ up today.
Yeah, definitely had a strong influence, but even Tesla had a pretty good day. So that one's up about 4.5%. And this is the next momentum trade. What should we be watching?
Yeah, make for them. I would honestly just make it break 450. It's getting really close to that pretty key level.
Awesome. And then last but not least, we had Twitter, which is another tech stock, up about 5%.
Yeah, make Twitter pop above 46.80.
Awesome. So all of these were eyeing to the upside only if they could break above the levels Tom listed, just for quick little in and out day trades. So keep that in mind. And now for the $3.4 million options trade that expires tomorrow, we are looking at the Tesla 470 strike call options that expire tomorrow, October 2nd. So I'll tell you, looking at this option, it's $20 out of the money and it expires tomorrow. So we would need about a 5% move. And I don't know, being $20 out of the money, that's a pretty big move for an option that expires tomorrow. I mean, Tesla is uptrending pretty nicely, which is great to see. But, normally when we call out these Tesla trades, this unusual options activity, at least recently, they've been continuing the next day, but it is $20 out of the money. So the main thing here is that we know someone put $3.4 million into the Tesla 470 calls that expire tomorrow. We just don't know if they are longing those options or shorting them. So, since it's $20 out of the money, my first reactions, especially that it expires tomorrow, is that they're shorting them. But it's pretty risky to short Tesla call options that, expire in a day. So I don't know. I'm pretty neutral on this. And I think a lot of it just depends on the movement we see overnight. So if we see some great upwards movement overnight and Tesla's flying in pre-market, I would say there's a pretty good chance of it continuing and it could be a decent day trade. But besides that, I'd stay away from this trade. What do you think?
Yeah, I really would stay away, given that we're getting pretty close to a resistance around 455 to that $460 level too, as well as 470 being its own resistance. I mean, it hit 470 pretty well a while ago, so I think that really I think that they're trying to short this, and then they're obviously trying to say, well, look, I'm going to short right where the resistance is, so that obviously that if it doesn't pop up, if it hits that resistance and falls, then they'll still be good. So.
Yeah, for sure. So now for our comments from the previous episode, and we have Mark H saying, well, Tom's call out on PTON turned into a monster trade. Amazing call. So thank you so much for that comment, Mark. And yeah, Tom did really good today with that PTON trade. I mean, up 6%. It's pretty great. So great job, Tom, with that too. Also breaking all-time highs with Peloton. Awesome. So now we have Angel saying, hey guys, thanks for the amazing content. What do you guys think about PACB in options to the upside? So let's take a look. PACB. All right, Tom, what do you think about this one?
Wow, I think it's definitely been a runner this year. It could definitely be a quick in and out trade if you wanted to do that. But personally, I would not be buying shares on this and trying to swing them, or I wouldn't try to get any long-term calls on this right now. It's just went up so much the past couple of months. I mean, really, like if we go down to the bottom here, let me draw a percentage tool just to get the exact percentage here. This is going to be crazy. Let's see, 363% since around the beginning of April. So that's a huge rise. And honestly, I couldn't see swinging them just given the price of this and how much they cost per share. Because if this ends up going against you, you might be down 50% within, 5 trading days, just given how much this stock moves. And really with how much gap ups and gap downs this has, it's just one of those things that I would not hold just because of the scary volatility in it.
Yeah, and then looking at PACB, I mean, this was a $2.20 stock like 6 months ago, and right now it's a $10.50 stock. So, whenever you see that, I just get a little skeptical, and I have never researched this company fundamentally. I don't know what their balance books look, or yeah, what any of their numbers look like. So I don't really know about this company fundamentally, but from a technical standpoint, obviously they're doing pretty great this year. I mean, I know they're not at all-time highs or anything like that, but if you do like this company for the long term, like I have not researched them fundamentally, so I don't know about them, but if you do like them for the long term, I would consider selling cash secured puts. And pretty much what that is like, let's say we go to the November 20th expiration, right? And this stock is pretty low price, so the chain's a little weird, but like, let's say you go to the November 20th expiration, and then you go to the $9 strike put. You can sell that for about $50 right now. So basically what happens is if you like this company for the long term, you can sell that put where if PACB is at or below $9 by the expiration date, you get to buy 100 shares at $9 each. And if you like that for the long term, and if you like $9, if you like that price level for the long term, then you'll have no problem with holding that. And let's say PACB is above $9, then you just keep the $50 you sold it for and run. So basically what you're doing is you're selling the $9 strike put for $50. If PACB is at or below $9, you have to buy 100 shares at $9. If it's above $9, you keep your $50 and run. So that's how it works. It's called a cash secured put. It's actually a very popular strategy, especially for bigger stocks. So like if we look at let's say we look at like Tesla, right? What people normally do is right now it's about a $450 stock. People will go on like the Tesla options chain. They'll go out to like, let's say the January 2021 expiration. And what they'll do is, I'm going to pull this up. They're going to go to, let me pull up this option real quick. So they will go to the January 2021 expiration, and they'll sell a put that's so far out of the money. So they'll like sell the 300 strike put for Tesla. They'll sell that and they'll get almost $1,900. If Tesla is at or below $300, they get to pick up 100 shares of Tesla for $300 each. And if they're comfortable with holding that for the long term, they're getting an amazing deal. Now, let's say Tesla just keeps going up or it falls a little bit. As long as it's above 300, you keep your $1,900. So you see how that could just be a huge win-win situation? Like, if you like Tesla for the long term, right, you can literally get paid to buy it at a low price. So it's a pretty cool strategy. It's called a cash secured put, and it's pretty popular if you want to do more research on
Yeah,
that.
and Mike, what a lot of new traders get confused with it is that if you sell that put, and let's say it's a 300 put, and Tesla actually starts going down towards that $300 level put, for example, you're going to be losing on that put. But just keep in mind that whenever you buy those 100 shares, that loss goes away. So like if you have a terrible loss right there, you won't have to take that loss. You'll just get those 100 shares at your $300 level or whatever strike you had. Just keep that in mind, because a lot of traders get really scared whenever they see those big losses if they are losing on the put. But just keep in mind that you will get those 100 shares and that loss will go away.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's a pretty popular strategy. Like I said, I mean, you're like, especially like the only variable in my opinion that you should use a strategy or not is you should only be doing it if you like the company for the long term. Like if you like the company for the long term, you can literally get paid to get that company at a low price. And let's say that company doesn't fall and you don't end up getting the shares, then you still get paid anyways because the option decays in value and you keep the premium. So I think it's a pretty great strategy. With the next comment, we have A saying, great video as always. I have a question for NVIDIA. Will it go up next week as I have a call option? So NVDA, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty strong. It's almost following Tesla and like almost like the NASDAQ overall. And I really like this. They had good earnings a while ago, and they also released those new graphics cards. So I would think that they would go up long term. But over the next week, I would just want to evaluate them as, I really think that the stimulus bill could have a lot to do with the market over the next few days. And if we don't see any good news come out of this stimulus package, or they have to delay it again, then I think if the overall market goes down, that will obviously drag NVDA down with it. No matter how good of news NVDA will have or how good of movement they should have, if the overall market tanks on that stimulus news, I think most all stocks will end up going down.
Yep. And then he also was asking, he has a put for NKLA, and I believe he has the 18 strike put. So, and it was for next week. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, that's NKLA is just one of those stocks that's really crazy. I really would like to hope that they could come back and end up falling down, especially with the news that their CEO had whenever he had walked out. So, we all know that Trevor Milton had gotten sexual abuse allegations right after he had stepped down from the CEO of Nikola. And that's pretty big news. And I'm surprised to see Nikola actually turning green this week after hearing about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes at NKLA. Its stock is very volatile. I mean, the implied volatility on this thing,
it's almost impossible to predict.
It's 228%. Like that's crazy. I mean, Tesla right now, that implied volatility is only 90%, and their IV is crazy too. But NKLA is at 228%. So the options are so expensive. I don't love the trade. Like I think that NKLA will continue to fall. Their chart really looks like it, but the stock is so volatile. One day you have the stock down, 15%. The next day it's up 17%. So it's a crazy stock. I don't love it. And their options are so expensive. So in my opinion, you're better off just trading shares on it because their options are so expensive.
Yeah, and I would honestly just transition into trading something safer, to be honest. Like I like to trade a lot of the blue chip stocks, like like Walmart, Coca-Cola, Snapchat, Space. If I wanted to get into a risky stock, I would get into something like Space or just something that doesn't have quite the movement this has. Whenever you see stocks go from 20 to 100, back down to 20 again, that's just a lot of movement. And I just like to get into stuff with a little bit safer movement.
Yep. So with that being said, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
Yeah, I know yesterday I called out Snapchat and that ended up playing out greatly today. It popped right above that high and ended up bouncing off of it in the middle of the day. So I'm going to be looking for a continuation to the upside on Snapchat. And if we go out to a 5-year chart, you can see that they're actually almost back up to their IPO price. They hit highs of around 29.44 whenever they had IPO'd a few years ago. And I think that they could, I'm not going to say they could easily hit that, but I think that they could rise up to around 28 to 28.50. Pretty good, just given that their high is at 30. Plus, they just broke that high of a, what was that, like a couple months ago? Yeah, the high on 7/8 or 7/9, and that was a pretty good resistance, and we broke that. So now I think we could run up to 28 plus.
For sure. So thank you for that. And thank you guys so much for watching this video to the end. Tom and I really appreciate all the support you guys give to the channel through the form of hitting that like button, commenting down below, and of course, subscribing. So comments really help grow the channel. We saw so many of you guys just commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for that. It really helps grow the channel. And if you guys want to try out the new options day trading bot, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.